My name is Bryn Kovalik, and this is the PowerPoint about understanding behavior. The first item that we would like to talk about is understanding behaviors in the classroom. One of the subcategories is communication difficulties. When there is someone in your class, especially with an autism spectrum disorder, it is very important to understand what they are trying to say. Some students may not be able to talk. Some students may not be able to produce words or sounds. Or some students can produce those sounds, but they don't come together to make actual words. They are trying to say something, and it's our job to figure out what they are trying to say. If they are trying to speak to us or display some type of hand motion or hitting or gesture, and we are not able to understand them, that can be a very frustrating part for them and can cause behaviors. Sensory sensitivities. If there's too much light in the classroom, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if they need to keep moving, these type of things can often cause behaviors because they aren't able to express why they need to feel the way that they do. Emotions. Sometimes we are able to express how we feel, if we're sad, if we're happy, if we're hurt, if we're confused. Students with autism spectrum disorder have very little way of expressing how they feel emotionally, and that can be very frustrating, causing them to have behaviors. Anxiety, what happens next? What comes next? Who will be with me? Who's going to be in my classroom? What's going to happen? These are all types of anxieties that can also affect behavior in the classroom, and it can cause it to go south because the student is unsure of what's going to happen. Getting along with others. Students with the autism spectrum disorder can distribute behaviors in the classroom when they don't get along with someone, or they can't understand somebody, or a peer is not acting in the right way that they want to be around. So those all show characteristics that can cause all the behaviors in the classroom. What influences behaviors? There's sensory and biological factors. That is, if someone is sensitive to light, if someone's sensitive to touch, doesn't like to be touched, someone likes to touch things that are soft, those might influence the student's behaviors. Biological factors. What is their makeup in their genes? What is their family like? What were they born with? Those type of factors can also influence how they act and how they are being trained to act. The learning environment. If the learning environment is very chaotic, very crazy, not really knowing what's happening, not knowing what's going on, these all take into play of what can cause and influence a behavior in the classroom. Classroom arrangement. Most classrooms in my school for autism spectrum disorder and emotional support classrooms have a quiet area, have a desk for the kids to work at. They have a specific space where all their writing utensils are, a specific space where the teacher goes. The room is set up very labeled, very organized, so that the kids know and can expect where things are. And the quiet area allows them to take a break whenever they feel overstimulated. Teacher and peer behavior. Teachers impact the classroom in so many ways. Specifically at my school, I've been there for almost 13 years, and I'm told all the time that the way I carry myself in my room and how I am with my students really shapes their behavior. I was out of school for 2 days last week, and all of my class went amok because they didn't have that person that was stable for them. That was their constant. And of course, I have a lot more sympathy than a lot of the other teachers, but teaching an autism spectrum disorder classroom and a emotional support classroom, it's very important to develop those relationships both with my students and with other staff. Communication and neurological issues, that influences behaviors because some students may not be able to communicate to others about what they need. Maybe their brain is even telling them that they cannot communicate such things. Research-based evidence. 3 certain ones are behavior intervention plans and PBSPs. These are all 3 things that explain and put together a plan for the student to make sure that they are they're having a goal, it's put into place, and it's a big comprehensive plan. The FBA is a planning meeting. This is to help do observations and see why people are escaping tasks during group time. This is also something that people do the FBA on. They take the time to see the student, see them in their environment, and see what's the cause of the behavior. The next is the discrete trial training. The instruction given to the child responds, then the child responds, then the consequence is provided, and a pause before the next prompt is given. The last one is focused intervention practices. This addresses a specific skill and then has an intervention to show it. Behavior and stimuli. Different factors, different stimuli affect the behavior in the classroom, such as loud noises, too much work, not grouping their work, unstructured routines, peers in their personal space, whether the temperature is too hot or too cold, if they're thirsty, if they're hungry, if there's a change in a routine that was not scheduled, transition, going from one task to another or from one location to another, having an unfamiliar staff in the class, and needing specific movement. Structured environments are the key to the classroom. Without structure, the students can feel confused, anxious, and have the ability to move around, causing distractions, behaviors to occur. Unstructured environments are times such as lunch, gym, recess, and garden. These environments offer less of a routine and can have a louder impact on the student. Staff changes, noise level, uncertainty can all occur during this time, triggering more challenging behaviors. Schools' staff influence on awareness. It's very important for staff to always be aware of what the students need and what they're trying to say, especially if they're nonverbal. It's important to understand that because it can keep everybody safe. It'll have the staff and the students' well-being at heart, and it can prevent future behaviors from happening if all the staff in the classroom are aware of the situation. And that is the end of my presentation.